In this nugget, you and I are going to discuss how using a custom monitor can verify that it's our HTTP web server that's up and ready and not just any HTTP server. Let's begin. Sometimes in the later evening hours, if I hear a noise, I'll often go and check on my kids and make sure they're okay. And if I, open the door and just peek in, I can see them there under the covers. I think, okay, they're fine, there's no problem, and I'll go back to bed. Now, the question I have for you is this. Step further to verify it's really the child we think it is under the covers. And you might say, well, Keith, you go up gently, you just peel back the covers a little bit and take a look. And that indeed would work. Well, in monitoring with our services in the NetScaler, we can do a very similar thing. So we have our virtual server. And tapping on it to make sure it's a life form, it's a human. In the case of HTTP, we're verifying that there's HTTP services running. However, the question still remains, are they the right HTTP services? Is it the right web page and the right services that are being pulled off of that server? So what we can do with these monitors is we have a large set to choose from of standard monitors. And we also have some EAV, some extended application verification, as well as extended content verification. In the case of websites, if we knew that these web servers were serving up content, and inside of that content it had the word monkey in it. So maybe it's a pet store division that Acme Incorporated is running, and they know that in their content they're serving up the word monkey as part of that content. We could create a monitor that's based on HTTP with extended content verification, and we could say we want to issue a GET, and in that response that comes back, we want to make sure that the word monkey shows up. And can you see how a monitor that's looking for specific responses could be even more accurate than a general HTTP monitor? And that same kind of a thought process is involved with other detailed monitors. For example, if you have a XenApp load balancing scenario where load balancing is already in place, and we're going to simply change out the HTTP monitor, and we're going to create an extended content verification monitor that's looking for the word monkey. And you might think, well, Keith, why did you think that monkey was going to be in there? So what I did is I took Bob's computer, I put Wireshark, a protocol analyzer, on there. I made the request through the browser, and then I looked at the content that came back. And I saw that in that content, the word monkey was there. Because the Linux box that they're running on is using a HTTP web server that's called monkey. And in a production environment, you could look for we've got one load balancing virtual server, 3 services, and 3 servers, and a whole bunch of monitors that came free of charge with the install of NetScaler. If we click on virtual servers, it shows that it's currently up, and over here on the right, it shows 100%, meaning 3 services out of 3 are currently up, none are down. If we click on services, it shows us each of the services, and they are all currently up as well. Each of them are bound to the standard HTTP. And that gives us the opportunity to get very detailed in what we're looking for to verify those apps and services really are up and available. So in our case, we're going to do HTTP-ECV, and under special parameters, we're going to send a GET command. And in our string, we're going to send GET HTTP/1.1, because that's literally what I saw in the packet capture. And then for the receive string, we're just going to look for the word monkey. And you know what, just for grins, let's go ahead and type in monkey face, because monkey face is not in there. I want to show you what it looks like when it fails, and then we'll go back and correct it, and then we can see what it looks like when it works. So monkey face is not part of the content. We'll click on create. So now this monitor is just sitting there in the config, pretty much wasting space until we bind it to a service that will then use this monitor. So next, let's go to So if we want to edit that, we'd click here and click on Add Binding. And then it's asking us, what monitor would you like to bind to this service? And we're going to use the drop down and say, how about the one we just created, which is right here, the Monitor Custom HCV HTTP. And then we'll click on OK. And then we'll click on Bind. We'll go down and we'll edit our custom monitor that we created. And we'll go to special parameters and we'll say there is no monkey face, but there is the word monkey. And so we'll leave it at monkey. We'll click on OK. And because that monitor is bound to the service called red HTTP, and that service is connected to the server object, the red server, it's periodically checking with that GET command and checking the response to see if the word monkey is there. And so if we look at the details for that service by double clicking on it, and then clicking on monitors associated with that service. Here it shows us that, congratulations, success, the pattern was found in the response. And we probably don't need to leave both of these monitors in place for this service. I have had a lot of fun in this nugget. I'm very glad that you joined me for it. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.